Ladies and gentlemen, friends and dreamers, I stand before you today not because life has been easy, but because I made the choice to believe in the strength that lies within me. And that is what I want to talk to you about today, the power of choice, the power of believing that I can do it. I know that many of you here have faced challenges that have tested your patience, your faith, and your will. Some of you have felt like giving up. Some of you have wondered whether you are enough or whether you are strong enough to face the battles ahead. But I want you to remember this: you are not your circumstances. You are not defined by the challenges that have come your way. You are defined by how you respond to them. And let me tell you, you can respond with power. You can respond with courage. You can respond with a belief that I can do it. When I was faced with an unexpected turn in life, one that brought me to a place I never imagined, I had two choices: to shrink, to give up, or to rise, to embrace the strength inside me. And I chose to rise. I chose to embrace my pain and transform it into a source of power. I want you to understand that strength is not about having everything together all the time. Strength is about showing up every single day, even when the world tries to convince you that you're not enough. Strength is about refusing to let fear dictate your life. Strength is about saying, I can do it even when doubt whispers in your ear. There were times when I felt like the world was falling apart, when I questioned if I had what it took to keep moving forward. But then I realized something: my story was not over, and neither is yours. I know it's hard. I know it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. But take a deep breath. Pause. Look inside. That spark you've been waiting for is already there. It's waiting for you to take that first step, to make that decision. The decision to rise above, to say, I can do it. I can stand here today because I believe that every setback could be transformed into a comeback. I can speak to you today because I chose to break the chains of self-doubt. I can do it because I refuse to accept anything less than my own power. And so can you. Your dreams, your goals, they are not too far out of reach. You are capable of greatness, not because you're perfect, but because you have the heart, the will, and the fire to keep pushing. Every step, no matter how small, counts. Every effort you make is a victory. So I ask you today, what will you choose? Will you choose to remain in the shadow of doubt, or will you step into the light of possibility and say, I can do it? There is nothing that can stop you. Not the obstacles you face, not the people who doubt you, not even the moments when you feel lost. The only thing that can stop you is the belief that you can't. So let's make today the day we stop doubting ourselves. Let's make today the day we embrace our strength, our resilience, and our ability to overcome. Let's make today the day we declare, I can do it. Life has a way of testing us, often in ways we least expect. It challenges us, pushes us to our limits, and sometimes it even breaks us. But these challenges are not just obstacles to overcome, they are also opportunities for growth. The key to embracing your challenges is understanding that they are not sent to harm you, but to help you become the person you are meant to be. It is in the face of adversity that we discover our true strength, our resilience, and our ability to rise above anything life throws our way. When we think about challenges, we often think of them as inconveniences, as things that hinder us from reaching our goals or living the life we want. We wish we could escape them, avoid them, or make them disappear. But the truth is, every challenge we encounter has something valuable to teach us. Every difficult situation has the potential to shape us into a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of ourselves. And at first glance, challenges can seem overwhelming. They can feel like insurmountable mountains that stand between us and our dreams. The fear of failure, the uncertainty about the future, the doubts that creep into our minds, all of these emotions can make it seem like the road ahead is too difficult to navigate. But it's important to remember that challenges are not here to punish us. They are here to prepare us. They are the experiences that allow us to build the mental, emotional, and physical endurance needed to achieve the things we desire. When we find ourselves in the midst of a challenging situation, our first instinct is often to resist, to fight against it, to wish it away. We don't want to face the pain, the discomfort, or the uncertainty. We want to take the easy way out. But resisting the challenge only prolongs our suffering. It's like trying to swim against a current. The more we struggle, the harder it becomes to move forward. Instead, what we need to do is embrace the challenge. We need to accept that it is a part of our journey, a necessary step in our growth. Embracing a challenge doesn't mean we have to like it or be comfortable with it. It simply means we acknowledge it for what it is, a teacher. Challenges have the power to transform us, but only if we are willing to learn from them. They force us to look within ourselves and ask hard questions. What am I afraid of? What limiting beliefs do I have about myself? What am I capable of that I haven't yet discovered? In answering these questions, we begin to uncover parts of ourselves that we never knew existed, parts of us that are stronger, more capable, and more resilient than we could have imagined. It's also important to recognize that not all challenges are created equal. Some are small, manageable obstacles that we can easily navigate. Others, however, are far more difficult. These challenges may shake us to our core. They may test our faith, our patience, and our will to continue. But these are the challenges that have the most profound impact on our lives. It is in the darkest moments that we often find the brightest light. When life brings us to our knees, we have the opportunity to rise stronger, more determined, and more aligned with our true purpose. The key to embracing challenges is shifting our mindset. Instead of viewing them as roadblocks, we must begin to see them as stepping stones. Each challenge we face is an opportunity for us to learn something new, to develop a skill, or to strengthen our character. It is through overcoming challenges that we gain the confidence to face even bigger obstacles in the future. We prove to ourselves that we are capable of handling whatever life throws our way. One of the most powerful aspects of embracing challenges is that it allows us to redefine what success means. We often think of success in terms of achieving a specific goal or reaching a particular destination. But success is not just about the end result, it is about the journey. It is about the lessons we learn along the way, the growth we experience, and the person we become as we move through each challenge. Every challenge, no matter how difficult, brings us closer to the person we are meant to be. It's not just the destination that matters, it's the transformation that takes place as we navigate the challenges that come our way. When we look at the most successful people in the world, we often see the end result, the fame, the wealth, the accolades. But what we don't always see is the struggle, the pain, and the obstacles they had to overcome to get there. Every success story is filled with challenges, with moments of doubt, fear, and failure. What sets these individuals apart is not their ability to avoid challenges, but their ability to embrace them and learn from them. They understand that challenges are a necessary part of the journey, and they don't let them deter them from their goals. It's also important to remember that challenges are not always external. Sometimes the greatest challenges we face are within ourselves. Our own fears, insecurities, and self-doubt can hold us back more than any external circumstance ever could. We may convince ourselves that we are not good enough, that we are not capable of achieving our dreams, that we don't deserve success. These internal challenges can be just as paralyzing as any external obstacle. But the beauty of these challenges is that we have the power to change our mindset. We have the ability to reframe our thoughts, to replace negative beliefs with empowering ones, and to create a new narrative for our lives. Embracing our internal challenges means accepting that we are not perfect, that we will make mistakes, and that we will stumble along the way. But it also means recognizing that each mistake is an opportunity to grow. It's through our failures that we learn what works and what doesn't. It's through our setbacks that we build resilience and determination. And it's through our internal challenges that we discover the strength we never knew we had. Another crucial aspect of embracing challenges is recognizing that we are not alone. We often think that we must face our struggles in isolation, that we must navigate our challenges on our own. But the truth is, everyone faces challenges. Everyone has their own battles to fight, their own obstacles to overcome. And it is through connection, through sharing our experiences and supporting one another, that we find the strength to keep going. We don't have to face our challenges alone. There is power in community, in knowing that others are walking the same path, facing similar struggles, and cheering us on as we move forward. Ultimately, embracing challenges is about cultivating a mindset of resilience. It's about understanding that life will not always be easy, but that doesn't mean we should give up or throw in the towel. Instead, we must commit to showing up every day, even when things get tough. We must commit to continuing, even when it feels like there is no way forward. And most importantly, we must commit to believe in ourselves, even when the odds seem stacked against us. As we move through life, we will inevitably face challenges. Some will be small, others will be monumental. But regardless of the size of the challenge, we have the ability to rise above it. We have the ability to transform our struggles into sources of strength, to turn our pain into power, and to use every challenge as an opportunity to grow. The key is not to avoid the challenges, but to embrace them with open arms, to see them for what they truly are: opportunities for growth, transformation, and a deeper understanding of who we truly are. And in doing so, we will discover that we are capable of far more than we ever thought possible. Strength is something that lives within each of us. It's not defined by the external world, by the praise we receive, or by the struggles we face. True strength is not something we are born with, it's something we cultivate, something that grows and evolves over time. It is built on the foundation of our inner beliefs, our resilience, and our capacity to overcome. And when we talk about strength, we often make the mistake of thinking it's about how much we can endure physically or how much we can control. But strength is not always about control. It is not always about holding on to something or bearing burdens without breaking. In fact, real strength often emerges from surrender, from letting go of the illusion that we can control everything. When we think about strength, we often imagine it as something visible. We picture physical power, the kind that can be seen in a person's muscles or their ability to lift heavy objects. But true strength transcends the physical. It's about emotional resilience, mental toughness, and the courage to continue even when things seem impossible. Strength is about perseverance, but it's also about knowing when to rest, when to step back, and when to ask for help. It's about having the wisdom to understand that vulnerability and strength are not mutually exclusive. In fact, acknowledging our vulnerability is one of the strongest things we can do. It's in that moment of honesty with ourselves that we find the courage to grow. Our ability to find strength is shaped by our experiences, our upbringing, and the narratives we tell ourselves. As we grow, we are taught that strength comes from conquering, from being the best, from never showing weakness. This societal narrative pressures us into thinking that we must always appear strong, that we must always have everything figured out. But true strength is not about perfection, it's about authenticity. It's about showing up as our true selves, flaws and all, and being willing to face whatever comes our way with an open heart. What we often forget is that strength is not something we have to prove to the world. It's not something we have to perform. We don't need to show the world how strong we are for them to see it. Real strength is quiet, it's subtle. It's the ability to stand tall even when we feel like falling. It's the ability to walk through the storm, knowing that the rain will eventually stop. It's in the moments of silence, when no one is watching, that strength often reveals itself the most. In our lives, we will face moments when our strength will be tested. There will be times when the world seems to be against us, when everything feels uncertain, when we feel as if we're standing at the edge of a cliff. It's in these moments when everything seems impossible that our strength is called upon. It's easy to remain strong when everything is going well, when we have no obstacles to face. But real strength is displayed in how we respond to adversity, how we face the unknown, and how we deal with failure. When we go through tough times, it can be easy to think that we are not strong enough to overcome them. We look at the enormity of our struggles and we can feel small in comparison. But this is where the most powerful form of strength lies, in the realization that we don't have to do it alone. Strength is not about isolation, it's about connection. It's about leaning on others, sharing our burdens, and knowing that there are people who understand and support us. Sometimes the strongest thing we can do is ask for help, to allow ourselves to be supported. Moreover, strength isn't about suppressing our emotions or avoiding the pain. It's about processing those emotions, facing them head on, and allowing ourselves to feel, to grieve, to cry, and then rise again. True strength lies in embracing our emotions rather than hiding from them. It's in giving ourselves permission to not always have it together, to not always be okay, and to let go of the pressure to be invincible. It's in acknowledging that we are human and that there is immense power in our humanity. When we experience personal hardships, there can be moments when we feel like giving up. There can be moments when we feel like we have nothing left to give, when we are so tired physically and emotionally that we wonder if we'll make it through. But it is exactly in these moments that our inner strength shines the brightest. In our darkest hours, when we feel most defeated, we often find the courage to take that next step. We push forward even when we don't have the energy to. It's in these moments of exhaustion, when we think we can't go on, that we realize how deep our strength truly runs. It's a quiet power, a power that emerges when we least expect it, but it's always there, waiting to carry us forward. We must remember that strength does not mean being invulnerable. It means being resilient, being adaptable, and being willing to stand tall in the face of challenges. Strength is found in our ability to adapt to change, to bounce back after setbacks, and to keep moving forward despite obstacles. It's the ability to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and try again. It's not about avoiding failure, it's about learning from it, growing from it, and using it as a stepping stone to the next level of our lives. Ultimately, strength is not something external that we have to find or prove to the world. It is something that exists within us, waiting to be nurtured. It's the quiet resilience that keeps us going even when we feel like giving up. It's the courage to face the unknown, to embrace uncertainty, and to trust that we are capable of handling whatever life throws at us. It is not a characteristic we are born with, but a skill we develop over time. It is the power to keep moving forward, not because we are invincible, but because we believe that we can. Fear is something that every human being experiences, no matter where they come from or what they've gone through. It's a part of our lives, an emotion that creeps in when we face the unknown, when we feel like we are stepping into uncharted territory, or when we believe that we are not enough. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty, to challenges, and to the possibility of failure. It's something that we cannot avoid, nor can we control completely. But the key to overcoming fear is not in trying to eliminate it, but in learning how to move forward in spite of it. Fear can feel paralyzing. It's that voice in our heads that tells us we're not capable, not strong enough, not deserving of success or happiness. It convinces us that failure is inevitable, that we should just give up before we even begin. The problem with fear is that it distorts reality. It blows things out of proportion, making mountains out of molehills. It creates stories in our minds that aren't based in truth, but on our anxieties and insecurities. Fear holds us back from reaching our full potential, and it often convinces us that we are smaller than we truly are. But fear is not the enemy. It's simply a part of being human, and it's something we all have to face. The real challenge is learning how to manage it, how to move through it, and how to not let it control our actions or define who we are. Fear will always be present in our lives, but it doesn't have to dictate our choices. We have the power to take that fear and use it as a tool, to let it guide us, not as a force that holds us back, but as a force that helps us grow. The first step in overcoming fear is to acknowledge it. We cannot fight what we do not recognize. Too often, we try to push our fear aside, to ignore it or to pretend it doesn't exist. But when we do this, we are only allowing it to control us from the shadows. When we name our fear, when we bring it into the light, we take away some of its power. Acknowledging fear allows us to understand it better, to realize that it's just an emotion and that it doesn't have to stop us. Fear only has power when we allow it to control our thoughts, to cloud our judgment, and to create false narratives in our minds. When we choose to face it head-on, we begin to strip it of its hold over us. The next step is to reframe our thinking about fear. Instead of seeing it as a sign that we should stop, we need to begin to see fear as a sign that we are on the right path. Fear often arises when we are about to step out of our comfort zone, when we are about to do something that challenges us or requires us to grow. It's a natural reaction to change, to stepping into the unknown. And instead of retreating from that fear, we should embrace it. When fear shows up, it's a signal that we are pushing our boundaries, that we are about to grow in ways we never thought possible. Fear, in this sense, becomes a companion in our journey, reminding us that we are doing something important, something worthwhile. Fear is often linked to failure, and it's this fear of failure that holds many people back. We fear not being good enough, not measuring up or disappointing others. But the truth is, failure is not something to be feared. Failure is a lesson. It's the process through which we learn, grow, and improve. Failure is an essential part of success. If we were to avoid failure, we would also avoid growth. Each failure teaches us something new about ourselves, about the world, and about how we can do things better next time. It's through failure that we develop resilience, perseverance, and the ability to keep going when things don't go as planned. We need to change our relationship with failure. Instead of seeing it as something to be avoided at all costs, we should see it as an opportunity for growth. When we make peace with the idea that failure is not the end of the road, but simply a stepping stone, fear begins to lose its power over us. We stop seeing failure as a reflection of our worth and start seeing it as an experience from which we can learn. This shift in mindset allows us to face fear with confidence, knowing that even if we fail, we are still moving forward. The real failure is not in trying and failing, it's in not trying at all because of the fear of failure. Another important aspect of managing fear is to take action, even when we're afraid. Fear often tries to keep us stuck, convincing us that we're not ready, that we don't have what it takes, or that we'll fail. But the only way to move through fear is to act in spite of it. Action is the antidote to fear. When we take a step forward, even when we feel afraid, we begin to prove to ourselves that we are capable, that we can handle whatever comes our way. Each action we take, no matter how small, weakens the grip that fear has on us. And with each step, we build more confidence, more courage, and more strength. Taking action also helps us to break things down into smaller, more manageable steps. Fear often arises when we look at the bigger picture, when we see a goal or an obstacle that seems too overwhelming to tackle. But if we break it down into smaller steps, the task becomes less daunting. Each small action we take is a victory, a step closer to our goal. The key is to focus on the next step, not the entire journey. When we do this, we realize that the things we fear are often not as big or as scary as we once thought. The more we focus on moving forward, the less room fear has to grow. At the end of the day, fear is something that everyone will experience, but it doesn't have to control us. It's just a feeling, a natural human emotion that doesn't have to define who we are or determine what we can achieve. The more we confront our fears, the more we realize that we are stronger than we ever imagined. Each time we push through fear, we get closer to our true potential. Fear is not something to avoid, it's something to move through, to learn from, and to overcome. And with every step, we build more confidence, more resilience, and more belief in ourselves. Every step we take in life, no matter how small, brings us closer to where we are meant to be. Progress isn't always about giant leaps or immediate success. It's about the consistency, the determination, and the perseverance that we apply to each moment, no matter how seemingly insignificant it may seem. When we look at the bigger picture, it can be easy to become discouraged, to feel overwhelmed by the distance between where we are and where we want to be. The goal can sometimes seem too far, the road too long, and the obstacles too great. But the truth is, progress is built on small, consistent steps. Each action we take, no matter how minor it seems, is one step closer to the future we desire. The beauty of progress lies in its subtlety. We often expect dramatic changes, sudden shifts that will mark a clear line between where we were and where we want to be. But most of the time, progress is slow and steady. It's the quiet, consistent efforts that compound over time. We don't always see the immediate results of our hard work, but that doesn't mean it's not making an impact. Just because the results aren't visible yet doesn't mean the work is in vain. The foundation we lay with each small action, each small step, is what allows us to